Hi, I'm Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the Art Review series, and today we'll be checking out the work of Aussie Study here on X or Twitter. Now, they do have two accounts. One is a study account, this one, and they have like a main account as well. So they mainly post their finished sort of works, but I did find their work first through this page, and I think it was through this piece. I just like the way they did their like breakdown of this like body. And I think most of their works in this profile is just studies. And I don't know, I think it's nice to see this because it kind of shows you what you have to go through. Because not everyone posts their like studies like these, because it can look somewhat appealing. It's not as appealing, right, as your like more finished work. But it's necessary, and I don't know, it just makes you more, well, cool, but also more believable. Like, it's not like you make art from nowhere. Like, it's basically a result of, you know, your overall commitment to just the practice of it. Because if you look at their main page, they do mainly focus on character art. So obviously the thing they have to sort of master the most is going to be people, you know? So if you're going to work on something, practice something, it's going to have to be human anatomy. And everything that has to do with like a person. For example, in this case, folds, right? How does it work when it's like when you're sitting down? How does it work when it kind of flaps? You know, these are the things that can influence how your body or the bodies you make look, you know? And for example, for clothing, it can influence or add to your character, right? It's not just about the pose, but the clothing can contribute to the vibe of whatever you're trying to make. And I tend to have a bias for artists to have like two accounts, one a study account, one for their like main. I think it's a good strategy, but I do have a bias. I just like seeing the studies more because it does tend to be a bit more sketchy, and it's almost as if I get to see their real self. I don't know. I'm not saying that their someone's finished work is not real. It just means there's some the rawness of it. I don't know. It kind of just pulls me in. If you look at the way, for example, for these sketches, it's not a very complex process, right? It's just ink work, or it's kind of rough. It's pretty opaque, like the black lines, and then just a couple of flats with maybe one layer for the shadows. I can see, I think for the hair over here, or the shoulder and the hair, there's like a soft gradient to it. So it's like a bit of a slight wash, but that's it. Nothing fancy. But again, this will look different if they do invest more time in it. And again, I do recommend to check out the other page. Wait, is this the guy from Heavenly, like Blessing something? Or Heaven Blessing? I forgot the show, but yeah, it's this guy and him being a bit flirty. What's his name again? Shilan something? Correct me if I'm wrong, but for context, he's basically the bottom of the show, and this guy's the top, the one with the eye patch. It's kind of the opposite of another like Chinese anime or donghua, whatever I saw. It's demonic cultivation something, where the top energy guy is wearing white and the bottom guy is wearing the darker colors like black and red. So I don't know, pretty funny. Well, sometimes they will show like a compilation of their sketches a bit, but I guess they show more of the close-ups in their other account. So wait, let me just see this for a second. Look at that. In a way, it has that webtoon kind of vibe, because for webtoon art, it does tend to have a cleaner look, and they invest more on the colors than say the ink. It's like an average look that they tend to have, and I like it. Interesting. You can see a bit of this. Is it a sketch? Not really. It's like it's a drawing, but it's not like a fully tight thing. And it kind of makes sense, because if you're gonna add this amount of color or values, it kind of takes over the lines anyway. I mean, you can still see the lines, right? But it's not that. It's not the heavy guy, or it's not the heaviest thing, visually speaking. It's going to be the colors, the graphics in the background. I am seeing some rake brushes being used here and there. I'm not sure if it's manually done or if it's like a rake brush, but it's like a nice hatching sort of look. I think it is a rake brush. It just adds a bit of diversity. Because if you take away those like dashy rake brush strokes, it's all just flats essentially. Like, there's hardly any texture for this kind of look. But yeah, I do like the sort of subsurface scattering happening, in between that light and shadow, right? How it kind of glows in the edges. It's just a nice thing to do. I mean, I do usually see it in skin, like it makes more sense, right? But I've seen it applied in like fabric as well. So I'm not sure if it's totally accurate to do that, but I think it's a nice thing to. It just looks visually cool, in my opinion. And it's gonna be saturated way more as well, right? And if you zoom out, you can still see it's not totally flat because they have a bunch of gradients, meaning it's not just one value. Like there's a slight shift. For example, if you look at the background, this sort of box thing in the back, it's lighter at the bottom and it becomes darker as you go further to the top. You can see this also in the fabric, like some parts will be lighter, some parts will be darker, some more saturated, some more desaturated. So it's a very sort of not even, but a very slow transition. I think it helps if you have a solid set of layers to do this, because for stuff like these, I would assume you have to be, you need to be a bit more organized. But yeah, I still have, yeah, I just like seeing studies, and I also like how they're not, you study in the way that makes sense to you, right? But I think it also helps if you force yourself to simplify your lines. Again, it's not a rule, but I think if you are struggling, because sometimes when I do struggle, I force myself to simplify things in this way where I use not too many lines, and I don't know, it kind of unlocks a different mindset. Like forcing myself to do things a certain kind of way, it sort of forces me to bring something out of myself. But it depends. If you're more of the cleaner type and you're struggling, maybe you want to do more rougher drawings, you want to use more gestural kind of lines. But if you're very gestural, very sketchy, maybe using less lines to begin with, I think may unlock something. I also like the way they're simplifying the hands. I mean, even this, right? Like you can feel, like how can you illustrate a body without using too many strokes? Because if you look at a lot of artwork out there that's good, their anatomy isn't even that, like, it doesn't have to be super deep. It just has to look good enough. And I think we miss out on making such amazing art when we're so stuck on trying to be like perfect masters of anatomy, So I think with studies like these, you kind of get, like, you just figure out what you need to do. That's enough. Because if it doesn't look convincing in this stage, without the colors, and all you have is like line art, then you're probably doing something wrong or you're not doing enough. So if something looks convincing, even with this level of like simplicity, I think it's gonna transfer. Like, something works now. So when you do a more finished thing, it's just gonna be more useful. Looks like it's Korean, like the language, because you can tell by the circles. I'm not sure what they're exploring. Oh, they're showing the difference between, the red and the blue. Wait, what's the main difference? Because this one has an X, so I'm guessing it's wrong. Wait. Or I'm not even sure. Maybe the flow is different. Oh, maybe it's supposed to be like curvy at the top, thinner at the bottom, and not as round, kind of like this. I don't know. Maybe you can see something I can't, or maybe if you can understand Korean. Nice face here, but yeah, their average kind of look is they're not using too many lines, and I do like that. So lots of gesture drawings, and you'll notice it's not super exaggerated because some gesture drawings, they're quite pushed, quite stylized. This one, I think they tried to go for they lean more on the realistic side. Man, even with the clothing, the folds, it looks really good. And notice how it's not too many lines. Like, it doesn't have too many lines. And even if it's sketchy, it still looks readable, looks clean. And I think having some line weight variety here. For example, the interior lines tend to be a lot thinner compared to like the outer contour lines. Like, there's a bit of a hierarchy there, so it just makes your sketches a lot more readable. And again, these are all like studies, right? But they're good studies. And you are a product of what you work on. So if you're not good, okay, I know this book. It's a Framed Ink by, what's his name? Matteo Mestre something. Yeah. Like, even because like it's a tutorial book on composition, and yeah, but I think it's his book, or this book kind of made me like to do inks or pursue black and white sort of drawings, or that approach, or it maybe made me open up to that. I mean, comics are okay, manga and such, but I think this book can sort of change the way you. I think it's helpful for everyone, but if you're more of a painter type, I think if you want to get good at drawing, just by looking at the pages, it's sort of a nice transition, because they don't draw like super, they draw in a very different way, and it somehow feels like brain fart. I don't know, as a painter, or if you lean more on that side, or if you're more of a value focused person, not so much on like line drawing or contour drawing, this could be a nice in between for you. Framed Ink by Matteo something. Oh, I do like this one. So this one's more of like a colored study. So we have the reference here, right? The base, some adjustments, but do you see this like nice, it's a rake brush, and then you have like this sort of very thin triangular brush. It kind of mimics a hatch sort of technique. So for the textures, they pretty much only have two major brushes. The rake brush and the sort of triangular thing looks really good. I've also been seeing this kind of look a little bit with the work of, what's his name again? Ramon Nunez. I think for some of his recent work, he likes adding like these dash lines. I think Linedecker and artists like that. But again, the rake brush is like a very well-known sort of special brush that just adds a bit of something to your work. Interesting, like I guess the tie here, which they did add in the end, it's sort of in its own layer. Right? You can tell because the outside parts, it has like its own border effect. Very smart way to do things, by the way. And I like how it's very painterly, very like impressionistic, right? I like seeing the overlaying of brush strokes, how they're kind of sculpting the thing. And again, for example, if you look at the pants, look at how as it goes further down, it does get a lot lighter. Go further to the top, a lot more darker. And you can almost feel like the fabric change. I mean, if you look at the reference, it's not like one flat thing. You can make it a one flat, like just one flat color, one flat base. But just by adding a gradient, kind of like for the sweater over here, look at how it's super light at the, not super light, but it's lighter at the bottom, darker at the top. It kind of naturally creates this illusion, or it adds volume naturally, even if you don't like do heavy shadows or heavy like paintings, sculpting like this, for example, for the outer like shirt. For example, if you look at the sleeves, look at how the shadows are kind of sculpted. Even if you don't do that as much, but you add like a simple wash, even if it's all flat and you add like this wash. I mean, for example, again, look at this sweater, this turtleneck sweater. You don't really have so many strokes inside, right? But it kind of makes it look like it has volume only because of, they added like this nice gradient. Obviously, you can combine that with painting, sculpting the shadows, sculpting the lights. It's gonna work well together. Interesting, they have an eye patch as well. Damn, even the hair looks nice. I like it. I like the vibes. It's kind of hot. Wait, is it a he or a she? Not sure. Does it matter? Let's focus. Oh, look at the stud. You know, I've been seeing some TikToks and, you know, results can't lie. You just have a different effect. I will never do it because it's, first of all, I don't go out, but it's also so risky and it's just to, oh, again with the triangle brush. Very thin, elongated triangle to kind of mimic that hatching kind of look. And it's in a directional position, meaning it doesn't follow pen tilt. It's almost like a stamp or a ribbon brush or something like that. The rake brushes, you can see it more on the floor. I'm guessing they're in a parking lot and it's just like a guy. Kind of reminds me of, what is his name again? Rudius from Mushoku Tensei. Right? Blonde hair, a slight pony or braid thing in the back. Kinda hot. I like the way the bike was painted too. Like it's giving, I don't know, it's my vibe. Yes, more finished stuff is super cool, but I like the more painterly, rougher paintings like this. Because sometimes this is all you need. If ever you want to push it further, then you can just go back to it, right? But this is enough for me, right? Look at, oh, nice boots. Damn, look at those shoulders, arms, nice tattoo. Kinda hot. One day. Let me just focus on this guy. Right? And I think it works when you study this way. You sort of, I call it like downloading. It may seem dumb, but if you do a lot of like study some references, over time you can sort of, you're not really trying, but because you're doing it constantly or regularly, you kind of are able to download some of the knowledge that you've drawn from doing these studies. It may not be immediate, but over time, something just clicks in your mind. And I've talked about this before. I think on YouTube somewhere, but I don't think it's always about the brain. I mean, yes, your brain matters, having that visual like library, that memory, but I think it's also your hand. Like I think your hand needs to know how to do something. So I just call it like hand memory. So it's not always about what you know in your head, because you can tell if something makes sense or if something does not make sense, like brain wise, like logically speaking, like you can tell if something is off or not. But that's very different from being able to learn how to do it. So when you do studies like these, it's not really about your head sort of memory or understanding. It's about your hand. So you want to make sure your hand is doing the thing you want to do, because if it isn't, you can tell if something is right or wrong, or you have like ideas, which is great, but you won't be able to execute them only because your hand is just not used to it. So I think this is where doing a bunch of like these studies, it matters to do these types of studies. These are some nice hands, by the way. Kinda semi-realistic. Yeah, semi-realistic. Or they're more on the realistic side. Because if you look at their bodies, most of the face is often like the most stylized bit, like the most obviously stylized thing. Everything else is kind of normal in a way. Kind of reminds me of how TB Choi kind of draws as well. Like they don't waste too many of their lines. Like, oh, she's hot. She's so hot. Oh, we have another colored thing here. Can we see this? Right? You can still see like a bit of the initial sketch. Right? Man, those eyes are so... Oh, no, this one's more anime and less like webtoony. I like the, again, with their rake brush and their triangle sort of brush thing. I like it. Ooh, the hair. The hair is always like, aside from the eyes, people drawing like the hair, you know, being able to like add these like, basically the lighter side of the hair where it's being hit by light. It almost always looks good. Like there's something about like how it's evenly placed or spaced out. I think for the hair you kind of have to be a bit more intuitive. Well, for art in general, but sometimes I think what gets in the way is when you become a bit too mathematical with it, it kind of ruins your image and flow in general. So, you know, a lot of art I think is winging it, as they would say, or just, yeah, just don't think too much. Think, but not too much. Kind of a hard balance to achieve, but right? I mean, who does studies like these? The pros. So this one, they're just studying the actual, like, no people, no human anatomy, just fold in general. And guess what? It does show in their work. Now this one is not a red, it's like a pencil sort of brush. Nice pose. Sadly, no feet, but you know, it's there. It's there. But do you see how it's so... I mean, there's studies, right? And you kind of learn to... When you do enough of these, you kind of have... Like you would eventually create your own, like a mannequin, your own shorthand for drawing figures. And that's kind of what you get to... That's what you gain when you do this kind of thing. You eventually learn how to simplify things in your own way. And that's like, I think that's the biggest thing you attain when you're doing studies like these. And I've noticed that if I don't do these as much, my drawing generally suffers. And especially if we're trying to do things from imagination, it's going to be even worse. Nice back. Pretty cool. Am I? You know, because of the pink hair and even the face, kind of reminds me of the girl from... Is her name Yuno? It's like an anime involving like cell phones and about the future. Oh, Future Diary. Future Diary. Sorry, just drinking some coffee. That anime, by the way, it had such an impact on me for some reason. And I don't know. Yeah. Wait, is this Rudius? It's giving a bit of Rudius. Wow, nice clouds. Like if you zoom out, I like how they're able to show those like cloudy, rainy, like you can tell it's like kind of heavy, dark clouds. And look at how painterly that is. Very what? Impressionistic. Such a vibe. Now for the grass bits, the closer they are to you, look at how it has a bit of that shadow to it. Wait, I've seen people do this, I think in the last episode or recording we did. Instead of making it a bold line or adding like a border effect that's just bold, think of like a typical stroke effect. They're using instead like a shadow, like it kind of fades out in the end. Like yeah, it's black, but it fades out outside of the stroke. So it's basically like a shadow effect. I like it. It kind of works. And in a way, it helps it not be too strong and blend into the background just a bit more. I don't know. Maybe that's why they do it. But look at how impressionistic this thing is. Oh, he saw it. Right? He looks like a gray rat from the Mushoku Tensei universe. Nice bird. Right? And you can tell like it's windy. Like you can see some leaves kind of flying through. Even if this guy is just standing, like there's movement in this thing. It's like it feels like it's animated. I think you will hear this advice from people who do animation typically. Or you know what, not even animation, but it's like an advice where you want, when you draw a pose, you want to make sure it's not always like a standing. It's not like a rule, but you can have a greater effect when you can feel the movement of your character. So if someone is running, you want to show, you don't want too much stability in the pose. So maybe they're sort of just in between them landing onto the next thing. Like in between jumping off of something and landing on something, you want to sort of capture the in between. And when you can do that, it kind of captures, or it has a feeling of motion. So even if it's a still image, it can have some kind of effect. And I think you're seeing something here. Yes, the person is just standing, but the motion is illustrated by the environment. You know, like the leaves moving. For example, the foreground leaves. Wait, let me just go back here. Do you see this part where it's kind of slanting? It kind of shows you these like grass bits. That's kind of blurred because it's kind of leaning this way. It just feels like it's rustling, you know, like it's moving around because of the wind, and the clouds help too, right? So it has motion. It feels like it has movement. A traditional piece, maybe, or study. Holy shit! Oh, it's so over. That's a nice painting. Is it oil or gouache? I feel like it's a gouache. I don't know. Oil, maybe? Wow, they're so artsy. If you can do both traditional and digital pretty well, like you're a definition, or you just feel like an artist. I know it's dumb to say that, but I don't know. There are many kinds of art, right? Or artists. I'm just saying that when it comes to like the aura, you're gonna have a lot more aura where if you can do like both traditional and digital, and kind of, well, yes, you will have a lean one more on one side, but if you can do both, or at least the other one that you don't typically do as much, but you can do it in a decent level, I don't know, it just makes you feel more supreme. Quick study. And I'm guessing that boldness is influenced by the way they paint traditionally, because a lot of artists who do have some background doing traditional stuff, you kind of end up learning how to be a bit more direct. And that can transfer when you do more digital stuff. I mean, look at this drawing. Right? And the lines just seem to flow. It's not always about the pose as well, I think. Because even if, I mean, there's no coloring here, and I can't even see the face. But because of how it's drawn, like, I feel like my eye can just follow along the figure. And, you know, there is an art to this part of drawing, I think. And you always see this a lot when, you know, with figure drawing artists, people who do a lot of gesture drawings, like, even if there's no, like, actual thing being illustrated aside from the body, it just feels a lot more flowy, you know? Some face studies here, look at that. Intense as hell. So I'm gonna stop the review here. I'm gonna link both of these pages. Wait, is that a femboy? I'm not sure, sorry. So it's like a Greek-esque attire. You know what? It kind of reminds me of this anime show. I forgot the name. Ragnarok something. I think season 2 is coming out this December or next year. I'm not sure, but I'm really excited for it. But basically, it's an anime about like human beings versus gods. All sorts of gods from different like places, you know, different cultures. And I don't know, this reminded me of that. I actually thought this was like a femboy. Just because, you know, Greek femboys. I'm not sure if they were actually a thing, but I wouldn't mind them existing. Anyway, So I'm gonna link this page, but aside from this like study page, you can also check out the main account here. This page where they do the more finished stuff. Bilibili, it's like Chinese YouTube. That's my guess. Correct me if I'm wrong. And let me see. That's the heavenly blessing thing. Let me just focus on this. Just one last peek. Oh, come on! Right? But behind all this, it's a bunch of studies, you know. So, oh, we did see this. Our Greek gods, whatever, or inspired deities. So look at that guy. Nice feet. Focus. Oh, we have another one here. Yeah. Wait. Look at that. Do they not look hot? Long hair. Kawaii. This one reminds me a lot of that demonic cultivation thing. And oh, look at this dude. Wait, we have some pieces here with a bit of a background. Pretty cool. Again with the heavenly blessing. I think I'm saying it right. Aren't they cool? Remember that scene where they were in their this guy's temple? It's a very humble temple. Because he's poor as hell for a god, which is kind of sad, but you know. We all start somewhere, right? And I think they shared like a bed, which is like, oof. And I know that the sexual tension was intense. Anyway. And not just that, but when they had, or when this guy Shilan, hopefully I'm saying his name right. When he met this guy for the first time in like the city of whatever. I don't know, it kind of made me feel something on the inside. Okay, last one. Again, there's more to see in their profile, but he looks like a dragon. An elf? A dragon elf? Look at that. Perfect. I think he is a dragon. Like a long. I think that's how you say it in like Chinese, right? Long. Anyway, I'm gonna link both pages, both the main account and the main account over here and the study account over here. So, yep, I'll see you in the next episode. Oh yeah, we do have some feet. We did see this, but I was kind of distracted. Yes, I will see you in the next episode. Bye.